Is the punitive carbon tax in Canada coming to a grinding halt? Hello, I'm Adrienne Batra. With me is Brian Lilley. So, Brian, just last week, we saw Justin Trudeau make a hastily made proclamation that for those that are in Atlantic Canada, he's going to pause the carbon tax on home heating oil for
Yeah.
3 years. Now, of course, we've seen the polling numbers in Atlantic Canada. That's the red wall that the Liberals need to carry on and stay in power. Those numbers are dwindling. So cross political move, but fast forward, Pierre Poilievre, the Conservative leader, has put Trudeau back on his heels on the carbon tax, hasn't he?
He has. Now, just to be clear, this pause for 3 years, it applies across the whole country for anyone that heats with home heating oil. It's just that, well, almost all of them live in Atlantic Canada. And he did it with his Atlantic MPs behind him. So, they're trying to say, oh, no, this is national. And we're not favoring one region of the country over another. You've got Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives have put forward a motion in the House of Commons calling for this to be expanded to every region of the country and to all forms of home heating. You've got the BC Premier saying, well, look, we collect our own carbon tax, so this doesn't apply to anyone in British Columbia, and we need fairness. You've got Rachel Notley standing with Danielle Smith in Alberta, Wab Kinew in Manitoba saying, this has to be fair. I don't think Trudeau thought this through. I mean, as you said, it was very hastily called news conference. And I don't think he figured that he would get this kind of blowback. He's angered the supporters who believe there needs to be a carbon tax.
Mm-hmm.
He's disappointed them. And he's angered people who, never wanted a carbon tax to begin with. But what's worse, the big group in the middle that think, well, yeah, there should be a carbon tax, but someone else should pay for it. Well, all those people that heat with natural gas, let's say, the most popular fuel in Canada, they're saying, oh, wait a minute, where's my tax break? You're giving them a tax break, but not me? He's in a no-win situation, and he faces this vote on Monday.
It's often the case where the Liberals put the Conservatives in a no-win situation, vote for some very squishy social program, which of course the Conservatives are never going to vote for, and then the Liberals can use that as a bludgeon them over the head with it. But what's interesting about this situation is not only because we see so many NDP premiers across Canada, predominantly in the West, saying we also deserve this break, our citizens deserve this break. It lays to bear the whole need for the carbon tax for starters. But now the NDP federal leader, Jagmeet Singh, has said he is going to support the Conservatives' motion. So walk us through that political maneuvering.
Well, it was really interesting. It was Thursday afternoon. Pierre Poilievre stood up in the House of Commons and asked Justin Trudeau, is this going to be a confidence vote? Because it very much could be. It's not specifically a vote of non-confidence, but the government can declare any vote a confidence vote. And so this is a motion, but it's a motion about a tax break. So therefore it involves money. I mean, look, if this thing passes, the government doesn't have to do anything. It can be that inconsequential. But because it is about money, they could say, well, yes, we're going to make this a confidence vote. Trudeau wouldn't answer that. He wouldn't touch it. He just, started denouncing the Conservatives for not caring about climate change. Later that afternoon, Peter Julian, the NDP House leader, went before the microphones outside in the foyer and said, yeah, we're going to vote for this because we believe in fairness. They had a motion earlier this year to take the HST off of home heating fuels of all kind. That did not pass. The government rejected that. And so they see this as, a similar sort of thing. If they see it about fairness, they see it as being about affordability. But now with them saying they're going to vote for it, it does kind of force Trudeau's hand. He can't make it a confidence motion, or he could lose. Or perhaps he told them ahead of time, don't worry, you can vote for this. We're not going to make it a confidence vote.
We also had been wondering for some time, at what point is Jagmeet Singh going to just say, okay, enough with this, marriage made in hell that he's made to continue to prop up the Liberals. We know that he wants to stay in the position in which he's in till at least January 2025 for that pension plan.
Yeah.
So you're probably right. They've said, look, not a confidence motion. It's not going to make any difference to our agreements, so to speak. But it certainly does allow the Conservatives to get those headlines and say, House votes to extend carbon tax, Liberals do nothing. I mean, I just wrote the headline right there.
Yeah.
A lot of fundraising opportunities, certainly for the Conservatives, but it also gives them an opportunity to really talk about this in the next federal election. Conservatives have been hammered by not having proper climate programs or plans or policies put into place. This really sort of shifts it in the Conservatives' direction versus against the Liberals, does it not?
It does. And look, let's be honest, Pierre Poilievre has talked about a climate plan, and he's talked about how he'll use technology, not taxes, to bring down emissions. The Liberals say that's not a plan because they want a carbon tax. But as you say, they're dismantling their own carbon tax. Pierre Poilievre has said he wants a carbon tax election. If we had one of those a year ago, I think he would have lost it. But the way things have rolled out, especially in Atlantic Canada now, especially with the affordability crisis, I think that he would win a carbon tax election at this point. The Trudeau Liberals have shown that the emperor has no clothes in their policy. First off, their carbon tax has been in place for years. It's never brought down emissions. The only thing that brought down emissions was the economy tanking during COVID. Other than that, Canada's emissions have been on the same path they've been on for years. They go down when the economy tanks. That's it. So this could be a very new dynamic, a very interesting one, where Canadians will have an up and down choice. Do you want a carbon tax? Do you not want a carbon tax? And if you don't want the carbon tax on your home heating oil, well, you better vote for the Conservatives, because Justin Trudeau's going to bring it back in 3 years. And when he brings it back, he will have increased it 3 times since he put the pause on.
Well, let us know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can go to theTorontoSun.com, hit that subscribe button. You're going to find content and stories there that you will not find anywhere else.